Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, let's go over some of the fundamental facts about the Fifth Brother. Basically a rundown to get us prepared for Kenobi. It's almost 2 months now until the show comes out, and we have a lot of work to do. So, let's begin. Among the Inquisitors, Fifth Brother is one of the most unique lightsaber duelists in the Order. Just like his leader, the Grand Inquisitor, Fifth Brother began his Force training within the halls and gardens of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. There, alongside other Jedi, like Anakin, as well as other future Inquisitors, Fifth Brother learned the fundamentals of lightsaber combat and Force techniques. But after the fall of the Republic and the execution of Order 66, Fifth Brother failed to resist Emperor Palpatine, and instead became seduced to the dark side. With his powers enhanced by Sith lore, Fifth Brother joined at least 10 other assassins on a mission so important, Palpatine was willing to risk the life of his new apprentice, Darth Vader, to see it complete. Fifth Brother, with the Grand Inquisitor as his commander, was tasked with tracking down and exterminating every Jedi who survived the betrayal of their clone troopers. But the road to becoming an expert hunter was lined with tragedy. Like most other members of the Inquisitors, Fifth Brother's birth name, birth date, and homeworld have been lost in fires of war. It's likely that Palpatine deliberately destroyed the records in order to prevent curious Imperial officers from discovering former Jedi were amongst their commanders. The early years of the Galactic Empire were built on a shifting foundation, and Sidious simply tried his best to weather every tiny rebellion that threatened to undo all of his hard work. Palps was confident in his ability to defeat external threats. He would use his powerful admirals like the upstart Wilhuf Tarkin to overwhelm rebels like the Mon Cala king who refused to recognize Imperial trade laws. But if any of Palpatine's own commanders became disillusioned with the new empire and unearthed the truth that Darth Sidious's second-in-command, Darth Vader, and the high-ranking Inquisitors were actually the Jedi scum that Palpatine claimed to have saved the Republic from, Sidious wasn't sure if his young empire could survive. So the mystery surrounding Fifth Brother's early origins might have been a consequence of Palpatine's own fears. Perhaps we'll learn more about them in the Kenobi show, but as for now, we don't know. Now, sometime after Vader returned from Mustafar for the second time in his life, shortly after creating his own Crimson lightsaber, the Sith apprentice discovered that Palpatine had an entire secret order of dark Jedi at his command. At first, Vader was rightfully enraged. Palpatine had manipulated Vader into murdering hundreds of Jedi because his master claimed that they were Horde beings. But here, now, Palpatine deemed to contradict himself by assembling former Jedi in order to execute his vision for the galaxy. Only moments after discovering their existence, Palpatine assigned the Inquisitorius to Vader's command, which meant Fifth Brother reported directly to Vader himself. In the first days of training, Vader made sure to show just how much he disliked the idea of dark Jedi learning Sith's secrets. In a single sparring session, Vader maimed and mutilated every member of the Order, including the Fifth Brother. Vader actually sliced his right hand off in order to teach the former Jedi about loss, but in truth, Vader just wanted them to fully understand their place in the Order of the Empire. His commander's actions didn't immediately earn his hatred. Fifth Brother continued to faithfully serve Vader in the early years of the Inquisitor's existence. Although Fifth Brother didn't play a large role in Skywalker's campaign against the Mon Cala King's rebellion alongside the rogue Jedi Farron Barr, you may remember the comics that I've covered on the channel about this. However, he would go on to help him kidnap the child of a former Jedi Council member in hiding, Eeth Koth. During that latter mission, Fifth Brother observed a crimson-skinned female Inquisitor show compassion towards Koth's wife when she nearly allowed the woman to escape. Once they returned to Coruscant, Fifth Brother wasted no time in reporting the events to Vader, who took the news as another excuse to kill some more members of the Order, since he was still furious that they even existed. While the Grand Inquisitor oversaw a post-mission party and watched as his soldiers passed a bottle of off-world spirits around, Vader barged into the room, ignited his red lightsaber, and declared that he was here to punish 2 treasonous members of their party. Vader had smartly deduced that the red-skinned hunter, who had shown compassion in their mission shortly before, and her Twi'lek drinking companion were in a romantic relationship, and their bond for each other betrayed the very pledge they had sworn to Palpatine. Thanks to Fifth Brother, Vader managed to use the Force to kill both of the Inquisitors, but the destruction that resulted from the hunt convinced Palpatine that Vader's obsession with the Inquisitors was too much. So the Emperor ordered the Inquisitors to be moved off of Coruscant so that Vader wouldn't waste his time looking for reasons to butcher his lesser Dark Jedi siblings, and also to keep them a little more hidden from the rest of the galaxy. After the death of the Grand Inquisitor, Fifth Brother rose in prominence as one of the Inquisitors that Vader would call on time and time again to assist him in the hunt of rebels and the increasingly rare Jedi in exile. For a short period of time, Fifth Brother along with the Seventh Sister were one of the most accomplished Imperial assets as they carved a chunk out of rebel defenses in their pursuit of Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger across the galaxy. But in the end, a final mission to the Outer Rim world of Malachor only a few years before the destruction of the first Death Star would be his doom. The Fifth Brother had no reason to think that he would die on that day. After all, it was a pretty simple mission, and even after a few exiled Jedi surfaced, Fifth Brother was able to competently deal with them in lightsaber duels. But the sudden arrival of former Sith Lord Darth Maul proved to be too much for the Fifth Brother. As a former Jedi himself, his only experience fighting against a Sith was in his brief training with Darth Vader. And even in that fight, Vader was holding back immensely. But on this day, on Malachor, Maul viciously plunged his saber through Fifth Brother, bringing his life as one of the most feared Inquisitors in the galaxy to a sudden, bloody end. I hope we get to see some aspects of Vader training the Inquisitors, and quite frankly, I want to see him ridicule them. I want to see him put them in their place so that they know not to mess with Vader. Now, the issue with Kenobi being 10 years after Revenge of the Sith is that a lot of this may be bypassed. But of course, there is the luxury of flashbacks. So we could see flashbacks of Vader in his bacta tank showing everything from him being Vader and training the Inquisitors to him being Anakin as well. And him, donning the suit. And maybe even him as a little boy. There are so many different moments that we could see in Anakin and Vader's life that I hope we'll get to see in flashbacks and visions. If not from Vader's point of view, then perhaps Kenobi's, maybe things that he remembers, maybe things that Palpatine remembers, and flashbacks from him. I hope this video was a little bit informative on who the Fifth Brother is. He's definitely one of my favorite Inquisitors, and he was always pretty loyal to Vader, even when he got his hand chopped off. That was one of the things that I always remembered, was that he was quite faithful when it came to being in the dark side and serving Palpatine, and of course, being ordered to serve Vader. Whereas some of the Inquisitors, like the Ninth Sister, they were just sort of catty, they had their own agenda, and they were kind of just not really good followers to Vader. They thought they were pretty hot, and that definitely aggravated Vader many times. Which is why, of course, he left them all marked. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you're excited for Kenobi coming out May 25th. Let me know some of your theories down below, some of the things you want to see, some of the things that you don't want to see. There's definitely a lot going on in this show, and I've seen a lot of fans say that, they don't want to see certain things and other things that they can't live without if they don't have it in there. So let me know down below in the comments. I will be taking some of your comments and questions and putting them in the next Nerd Theory as well. So that's definitely something that I'd like to do going forwards, is incorporating some of you guys in the show. Love you all. Thanks for watching this vid. Catch you in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.